Here's the problem with the Cowboys. don't put any more of those sound drops in because honestly, I won't be able to finish the segment. They cannot score a point in the third quarter. Like, they can't do it. And it really started, go back to week 10, right? So the Vikings, they lose that game. They scored 24 total points, 10 in the second half. They beat the Lions. They win. They score 35 total points. They score 11 in the second half. Then they lose to the Pats. They scored 9 total, and they scored 3 in the second half. None in the third quarter, when adjustments are generally made. Then they play the Bills. They scored 15 total points. None in the third quarter, 8 in the second half. Largely garbage time. Then last night with the Bears, as we were once again treated as a nation, to watch a team what they have accomplished compared to what we actually, the amount of time we spend on them, might be the most imbalanced equation in the history of sport. So then last night, 24 total points. Oh my God, I still have tears in my eyes. And they scored none in the third quarter, 17 in the second half, largely garbage points. I mean, the part of me, I just want this to keep going because I can't wait to hear the next spot with Jerry Jones. But here's what I don't get. So he's always on with Sean and RJ. My buddy RJ Choppy, who I've known for a long time. I don't know Sean, but RJ's great. I know they have a good show. Who was that he was on with? I don't know who that is. And what happened? Did he decide not to go on with RJ and Sean? I don't know, because he's been with them for years.
He's usually on with them on Tuesdays, I believe, after the week is over. So he may have already actually been on with them.
Gotcha.
And actually, I do believe that he was on with them this week.
Okay, but because they played on Thursday
game, they just had him on a Friday.
Gotcha. Wow. And what's really buried in this game here is that Mitch Trubisky is showing signs. Mitch Trubisky and Matt Nagy are they're showing signs. Wow. That was pitiful. It really was pitiful. And they're so stale and they're so predictable and we waste so much energy on them. I don't think I want to spend any more time on them today. I really don't. What do I need to say? What else needs to be said? They can't score a point in the third quarter for a month straight. 1 month straight. They haven't scored a single point in the third quarter. When you make adjustments, all the other coaches, right? And listen, a lot of these deficiencies were masked early in the year because I went through each game, starting with the Giants game when they scored 35 points and they won, into the Skins game, into the Miami game, into the Saints game when Teddy Bridgewater played and they only scored 10 points, they lost 12-10, into the Packers game, the Jets game, which I was actually at. Every single game, right? The first 3 weeks for sure masked real deficiencies because they scored points in the second half because the Giants were pitiful. At that point, I know the Skins have shown a little gumption since, but the Skins they were in a canoe without anything remotely resembling an oar. And Miami was trying to lose, or at least at that stage, they looked as if they really were trying. Even though that game was somewhat competitive in the first half, I think it was 10-6, and Dallas scored 28 or so points in the second half. So we didn't really fixate on what their problems were. Listen, we could spend all day, and I spent a lot of time on the defense yesterday. I understand Dak's going to get paid. I understand Jason Garrett. Okay, Zeke, when are you going to use him properly? The defense doesn't make splash plays. If you can't score in the third quarter, you can't win. I don't know what else to tell you. It's the most basic component. Generally, you want to start well, and generally, once the tone of the game is established, you go into this thing called a locker room. You look at your thing. Now it's called the tablet. It used to be a chalkboard. You look at it. You hit a few buttons. You make a few adjustments. You come out, and you score a single point. They can't even do that. Jerry's got a lot of very endearing qualities. He truly does. But the irony here is one of his best qualities, his loyalty, his allegiance to a friend has destroyed their season. Jason Garrett is terrible. It's terrible. I mean, the clapper. It's all he does well. Well, you got it. Go. And he throws the red flag pretty well. There's this new advanced stat. They're tracking the, like 22, 23 miles per hour. I read yesterday that Jason Garrett leads the NFL in velocity for red hanky tossed. I mean, he actually gets it up to about 7 or 8 miles per hour. That's what he does well. He claps and he throws the red flag well. That's it. That's literally it. There's nothing else well. He's the most uninspiring coach I've ever seen. He's so boring. And you know what? And his team has now taken on his personality.